already made several videos exposing the final experiment for the complete debacle that it is. It's a complete embarrassment for everyone involved. And Jaron, he's already exposed him completely. He's been an agent from the start, just playing the role of a flat earther. So we can completely forget about Junkyard Jaron. He's off to the wayside, placed in the dumpster where he belongs. And that gets into Witsit Doesn't Get It, who I also call Jaron Jr. because he basically repeats verbatim everything Jaron says, like the good little muppet that he is, the stooge for Jaron. And that gets into this so-called live stream from Antarctica, where Witsit Doesn't Get It is answering questions. And he's asked, why don't we see any water vapor coming out of your mouth? Let's get right to it and break it all down.
Why isn't your breath foggy? It's not as foggy as it was a second ago.
Complete fail on Witsit Doesn't Get It. Let's continue.
It's kind of foggy right now. But right before I started the stream, I tested it, so I knew you guys were going to say that. And my breath was like super foggy earlier, but it's not really foggy right now. I don't know. No humidity? Yeah, of course. I mean, it's super dry here. That's why
he says no humidity, super dry. We'll get into that later on during this presentation. Let's continue.
My lips are super chapped. It's not even windy and my lips are super chapped. Just pick up some snow? Okay. I'm not wearing gloves, so that's a terrible suggestion. I'll be right back and grab some gloves and I'll pick up some snow.
So Witsit goes off camera to his little hut to retrieve some gloves to pick up some snow, supposedly. He goes all the way off camera. And he does something else while he's in the hut. He retrieves his vape to fabricate the vapor, as you see here. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But first off, let's continue here with this garbage nonsense from wherever he is. These fakers, these liars, these frauds that are not real flat earthers. And the camera goes blank for several minutes while Witsit goes into his little hut to retrieve the gloves and take a puff from the vape. Let's play the video. And you'll clearly see how Witsit's only able to muster one strong puff of vapor. And this is from his vape itself, not from his lungs, not organic. We'll get into that again a little bit later, but let's take a look once again at the footage.
There's a little breath.
That was it. That's all he could muster, just a tiny bit more, and that's it.
What's up now? You have to take like deeper breaths, and it sucks. It hurts your lungs. Okay.
Now take a look here as Witsit the Weasel starts walking towards the background to pick up supposedly some snow. Why not pick up the snow right by your feet? Why walk 10 yards, 15 yards to pick up snow? This makes absolutely no sense why he's doing this. That's because he's in some type of studio. And watch him drop this so-called snow. And then he does it right here. Then he goes right down and retrieves. So you're going to go all the way to the back over here to get snow, drop it here, then pick it back up. This doesn't make sense. Then he throws it up in the air. And then he's going to talk about the so-called doubters. Of course there's doubters because you and Jaron are not to be trusted. So let's continue.
Placating to the insanity anymore. If you follow me for years, you know I'm not lying. And honestly, all the cope shows that you do think it's a big deal. So is it that the stuff in the sky doesn't prove the ground, or is it that we're faking it?
How about both? What happens in the sky does not prove what's happening down on Earth, the flat Earth that we live on. And definitely you're not to be trusted along with Jaron and the rest of the band of deceivers you guys hang out with, associate with. None of you guys are to be trusted whatsoever. Let's continue.
Sell out. What did I sell it? It cost me thousands of dollars. I didn't have to do this.
And he claims it cost him thousands of dollars. What about Will Duffy? I thought that this was a no expense trip. And Will Duffy would take care of everybody as far as the trip's concerned with you, Jaren, and the globe shills as well. And that gets back on topic with the fake vapor that Witsit supposedly blew out of his mouth only momentarily, and then it went back to nothing. And that gets into this clip. And here is another angle of Witsit, the same exact scenario where he's talking to everybody, and he goes in that little mini hut, and he comes back out, and right here, and move it back a little bit, this is where he takes the vape. You can see his arms basically, his hands, his arms are up, and he's taking the vape. Let's continue on here. And he goes back and to the laptop, and he blows the vape. And here's a little bit closer right here. You see him with his head down a little bit, his arms up, his hands up. You don't see his gloves. I'm going to show his gloves down in a little bit, proving that his hands are up. And this is where he's fabricating the vapor. And there you see his hands hanging down. Obviously, you would have saw that back here. You don't see that because his hands are near his mouth where he's taking the vape. This is clear as day. If you're really in Antarctica, like you guys claim, why fabricate this? Right there again, a little bit of a close-up. See his hands down here after they were up, right here. That's exactly, you can see his head down, his arms up, clearly, as he makes his way to that little podium where the laptop is. Now just another look as Witsit used that vape to pass off that he's supposed in Antarctica. I'm not saying they didn't go to somewhere that there's not cold weather, but something's going on here. Definitely. Smoke and mirrors. No pun intended with the smoke. But it's just like a movie where there's a production where they're mixing some fake with some real. That's basically what's happening here. Now let's take a listen here to what Jaren has to say about the situation regarding the vape. Take a listen.
If you know, did anyone ever have any vapes in Antarctica? Yes, I think Austin did. What you mean?
So obviously, that's a smoking gun, no pun intended, when it comes to Witsit and the whole nonsense with the vape itself, as you can clearly see here, once again, to round off this situation. And clearly, make no mistake about it, this is the only time, the one and only time, you can see vapor coming out of Witsit's mouth. He's trying hard. He's trying hard, but no such luck. And a horrible fail by Witsit and all involved with the so-called final experiment. What a complete joke. What a complete disaster. And make no mistake about it, this is by design. This was meant to go down as it was shown to create controversy as well. Now that gets into another topic regarding the situation when it comes to vapor. And supposedly those that believe that they're traveling to the bottom of a ball and hanging upside down, give me a complete break. Now that gets into this, like I was saying, regarding real people with no agenda while in Antarctica. Let's take a look at all the vapor coming out of these people's mouths. Right here, you'll see it. Just to start off, let's get right to it.
How are you? Good. Hi, ladies, gentlemen. Welcome to Antarctica. Hi there, welcome. Bye, enjoy. Lady in the black. Enjoy. Welcome you.
On board this flight is our group, which is headed to Witsit Camp, a half-hour flight from here, as well as a group headed to the Echo Camp, which is just a quick drive from the runway. There's also a bunch of people who are here on a day trip. They'll get a taste of Antarctica for a few hours.
And you see all the vapor coming out of this guy's mouth. And some will claim, oh, that's because he's just coming out of the plane. But no, it's continuous. Let's continue on with the video.
Before flying back on this plane to Cape Town.
Look at this, getting off an A340 in Antarctica.
You see all that vapor coming out of this guy's mouth. Okay, take a look. All that vapor. What's going on with Witsit? What's going on with Jaren? No vapor seen anywhere except through the vape itself.
An A340 in Antarctica. Amazing.
Now here's a situation, completely different scenario that I'm going to show in this video and the next one, where it's clear as day, clear skies with the sun right behind him, and you're going to see all that vapor coming out of this guy's mouth.
Is getting stuff ready in preparation for going out to a field camp. I am next Tuesday going to a place called Waste Divide, and it's a long ways away. We're going to be flying there. I'm going to be there anywhere from 10 days to possibly 3 weeks.
You guys get the point. All that vapor coming out of this guy's mouth. Okay, now this is again with a sunny sky behind him. Now, just for contrast, for anybody that has doubts of what's taking place, let's take a look at this guy on a cloudy day during his visit. So there's no type of controversy. Oh, it's a sunny day, or if I'm showing clouds or not showing clouds, or I'm showing only sun, it's going to be clear as day. It's in both situations, both scenarios. Let's take a look.
Just made it to McMurdo Sound. We've landed at Phoenix Ice Runway, and we're here.
You see all that vapor coming out of his mouth. Same with this guy in Antarctica. I'm just going to play this slowly. Another video with another guy. I'm going to play it normal speed. And just take a look at all that vapor coming out of his mouth. I'm also going to be very clear and concise regarding what's happening. And not every situation you're going to see vapor coming out of people's mouths. I get it. But you see none with Jaren and Witsit. Why is that unless Witsit vapes? So there's something going on, definitely. Like I said, not trusting, obviously buying what Jaren and Witsit are selling. Jaren already exposed. Witsit, part of Team Deceive as well. And it's also good to see many people in the Flat Earth community are waking up to the lies of Jaren and Witsit, obviously controlled opposition. And this is nothing new. This is an old trick that's been played for decades and decades. With this very famous quote by Vladimir Lenin, the best way to control the opposition is to lead it ourselves.
John chapter 9, verse 25. Whereas once I was blind, now I can see. Now I can see.